Most traders draw the Fibonacci wrong. In this video, I'll show you how you can pinpoint key entry levels and key exit points, and even a smart indicator that helped me gain $930 in just 15 minutes scalping crypto. Let's get started. Today, we are covering the Fibonacci retracement tool. I get a ton of questions on how to drop the Fibonacci and everything like that. I'm going to cover it on two different platforms here, on Tradingview and on Axiom as well. I know I got audience in both kind of groups here. I trade a lot of perps. I trade meme coins as well. So we shall cover how to actually draw the Fibonacci, what levels we're looking for on entry, and the actual exit points you should be taking profits at. I use the Fibonacci pretty much in all my strategies. A lot of people use the Fibonacci tool. That's why it lines up so well with exit and entry points. Yeah, think about, especially on these crypto exchanges like Solana, Bitcoin, Ethereum, all the algorithmic bots they're probably using, at least big brokerages and things like that. They are also probably using these levels when they are lining up for entries here. I will also, at the end here, show you a cool little indicator trick I found that you can use as well if you are just starting and learning out how to draw the Fibonacci, so you can pinpoint more accurately where to draw the Fibonacci at. So let's go ahead and get started here. So if you go on Tradingview, we'll start with Tradingview here first, and we click the Fib Retracement tool. So Fib Retracement up to the left. And here you'll see this is the current live graph for Solana, right? Okay. So I marked out 5-minute opening range breakout. I go over that in my other videos. Here was our previous day high here we broke through this morning. Took a really nice short this morning. I'll also show you guys. But if we're drawing your Fibonacci here, okay, so this morning we had a bunch of consolidation for an hour and a half from 7:30 a.m. Central to around 9 a.m. Central here, okay? So where the heck do we draw our Fibonacci in this mess? And we're on the 1-minute time frame. Now, we saw, let's say we saw it back here, okay? So here's the swing low we're looking at, right? You're probably going to have to adjust this as it goes down, but I'm usually looking for the swing high and swing low areas. So for instance, here we are looking at a short. Why are we looking at a short? Because we have this general overall steep downtrend going on, right? We got lower highs being made. We have lower lows. We get a lot of big bearish candlesticks. Not only that, but we cut through our 200 EMA here. So that's this yellow line. So we're below our 200 EMA now. And on perps or futures trading, this usually tends to mean we're probably going to be looking at shorts since we are below this yellow line here, which is the 200 EMA. Okay. We had a nice solid breakdown past the previous day high. So probably looking for shorts here. If we're looking to draw our Fibonacci here, we are simply going to take our Fib retracement tool, and here's our low, right? Let's say we saw this low first, and we're just going to take it to the swing high here. Okay. And this is the backwards way of doing it. But I do it the backwards way. Why? Because I like to see my take profit levels. People ask me that a lot in my videos. Yes, I understand this is backwards, but typically I am looking for this 0.618 range, okay? Now, if you wanted to draw it the correct way, right, you just do it the opposite way here. So we're going from the swing high here to the swing low to find our entry. Usually we are looking for that, what's called a golden pocket or golden area. As you'll see here, we wicked through our 0.5 level very nicely, a lot of times signaling we are probably going to continue with this downtrend, okay? We just wicked through it, okay? We never actually came up to this golden pocket here around the 0.618 level, but if you're looking to draw it the correct way for entry, this is how you would do it, from the swing high to swing low. Now, because I'm trading on the 1-minute time frame and I like to see my take profit levels, this is why I do it the backwards way. So I'm not trying to overcomplicate things for you guys. This is why I just keep it swing low to swing high. If we're looking at a short, we'll look at a long next. And you'll see here, we're wicking through the 0.5 range. Usually, I'm typically looking at the 0.618 range to enter. I look at other confluences that are lining up, like fair value gaps, divergences. I go over that in my other videos, which you can click down below if you would like to learn more about those. But we are just covering Fibonacci here today. So you'll see here, we entered around 0.618, right? We had this nice little trend break. So you'll see we have a little trend break here on the 1 minute, a nice little solid retest as well. So solid retest, and it just completely broke down to our 2.272, which is awesome. So this move actually netted me around $930 in profit. We were doing a 70x leverage here. I know with my leverage, my stop loss is going to be hit before it even comes close to my liquidation price. Cover liquidation price and leverage in my other videos on my channel if you're interested. But this is the total profit we're looking at, and it took what, from 9:08 a.m. to 9:21 a.m. So a total of 15 minutes about for that profit. Okay. Granted, I am risking $300 to $500 when I am trading. So that is something to take into consideration. If you were risking $100, we take a look at our risk and reward here real quick. So, entering at the 0.618, just keeping it simple, take your short position. And I held this down to the 2 level. You could have held it down to the 2.272 using a trailing stop loss. Where does our stop loss go? Usually I'm putting it above a 5-minute fair value gap candle here. So we had a nice, this one took a little bit to form, but we had this 5-minute fair value gap candle. So pretty close. I would just put it above the 0.5 line. Holding this, entering at 0.618 at this consolidation would have been risky. I believe I entered a little bit later here once it broke through the opening range breakout, but still landed a solid profit. Could I have gotten more out of this trade entering sooner? Yes, certainly. Are you going to enter perfect every time? No. But here is the trade overall. Risk reward 10.95, meaning you're risking $100. You lose $100 with where your stop loss is at. Probably put it above these wicks actually, since those wicks are there. And if you win, you're winning $1,800 on this trade, holding it all the way down to 2.272. Granted, you have to have patient for this, but here are your fib lines. So our take profit levels, 1.272, 1.618, 2, or 2.272. If you're hit in the beginning of a trend, we had a lot of consolidation here. I would almost consider this, granted we already had this downfall, another kind of beginning of the trend, especially for market open. So I was like, I can probably hold this down to the 2 level. I saw a 15-minute bullish fair value gap up to the left-hand side here on the 15-minute, which I'm usually lining up my take profit levels with. I go over that more on my 1-minute scalping strategy video, but you can certainly set 4 different take profit levels if you wanted at these areas and take profit there. Okay. So this is our Fibonacci retracement tool. This is how we are entering and exit trades always. Now, how do you draw this on, say, Axiom here? Same kind of deal. I'm just going to pull a quick coin, go to pulse, see, find a dog. Okay, this one has 600. Is this a rug? This we'll see. But we'll pull up a quick coin here. Okay, so same kind of deal. Go over this in my other videos. So let's say we saw this trade back here on this first kind of wave up, right? Where'd we go first? Typical, right? 100K. Maybe we saw a lot of pro traders in it. But you would draw it from the swing low to swing high. And this correct way to draw it, you'll see, once again, touched our 0.5 perfectly before going upward. And if we are looking to take profits, stay safe on meme coins, you can look to draw this the opposite way, just starting from the beginning of the graph. And this one really went up, but we did end up, a lot of times, we're hitting these levels, right? Look at this 2.272. It's again, on this first wave, you're hitting the beginning of a trend. So looking at those 2.272 levels might not be a bad idea. You got to see what the chart is doing, though, in order to make those decisions. It's going to play out how it's going to play out. But look how perfectly that came up and hit our take profit level at 2.272 before having another pullback. Even up here, right? 3.618. Okay. So came up pretty perfectly to that area, that 3.618 level, before coming back downward again. So these are all take profit levels we can look at. Okay, so we're just drawing from swing low or swing high. I'll go over a quick long example here as well. So if we're on the 1 minute here, and then I'll show you a quick little indicator to help you pinpoint a little better, where to draw this out at. Okay, so for instance here, this does take practice. Eventually it becomes secondhand nature, but take your fib retracement. I saw this graph here, retracement here to here. We only touched our 0.786 here. This was just a little pullback in the trend before coming back up. You'll see we're halfway through the trend, but you'll see how perfectly it hits these areas, right? at the 1.618 before tanking back downward, okay? But once again, with this trade, we already had moved quite a bit on this bull run, okay? On this bull leg up on the 1 minute. So we're like halfway through the trend, which comes with Elliott wave theory. So that's probably why it only went up to that 1.618 area from where we were drawing from, okay? Now, if we're drawing it, let's say back here for a long, again, we'll go swing high to swing low. We're just looking for entry and take profit levels. Now looking to get in and out. We'll see. This one came down pretty perfectly, 0.5, 0.382 area. And where'd it hit? 2.272. It stuttered around there for a little bit from 4:45 a.m. to 5:23 a.m. So almost an hour it stuttered around there. You would probably definitely be considering getting out on this downturn. So this is why we're looking at these levels. Because with these levels, you never know. It could just follow this dive down and then just continue downward, hit your stop loss, okay? So that's why we are looking at these levels for take profit. Could you have leaked some more profit out of this because you're hitting the beginning of trend? Certainly. Do you always know if it's going to go up that far? No. Nothing in trading is 100%. This is why we are looking at those specific lines and those specific levels when we are trading. So this is how I draw it. The correct way for entry, once again, take our swing low, so the bottom of this trend, to our swing high, and you'll see 0.5, 0.618. That's that golden ratio area I was talking about came through. If you're able to flip it quick enough, you can do that too. Or you can just look at the lines that match up there. So 0.5, 0.618, and then look at these take profit levels at the 1.272, 1.618. You'll even see here at the 1.272, it kind of stuttered for a bit, right? Almost came back down, hit here perfectly, came back down, and then continued on upward. However, because you were getting in early on this trend, you could probably ride this up further because we're looking at the very beginning of this trend here, the first wave up. So as you get farther along in a trend, more than likely, it's less likely to hit those higher fib levels, okay? Like halfway through here, you get pretty high up. Just want to show you that quick little indicator. If you go to indicators, type in Williams fractals right here. So we'll pull this up. So you'll see we have a lot of up and down arrows, right? Pretty confusing, okay? But if you're on the 5-minute time frame, it's probably going to be best for the 5-minute time frame here. You can go ahead, select this, put in 5 instead. We're going to get rid of some of these points. And you'll see this gives you a better idea of where to draw your fib from. So granted, we're going to have top movements like this. None of these indicators are going to be perfect. But you'll see here on the 5-minute, right? We have the swing low to the swing high, this green arrow up here. And this can help you pinpoint a little bit better of where to actually draw your fibs from. This is on the 5-minute though, okay? 1 minute's going to look a little bit different than this. So if we drew it from this red arrow to this green arrow up here, you can see pretty much touched our 1.618 perfectly, touched our 0.786 perfectly there. So if we're looking to draw our fib correctly, it'd be swing high to swing low for entry. And you'll see it just came up to that 0.17, which lines up pretty well with that 0.786 level. So feel free to use this indicator at your discretion, right? It's not going to be exactly perfect, but it can give you a little bit better of an idea of where to draw these fib levels out, especially on the 5-minute time frame. For instance, we got this green arrow here, this red arrow down here. See, it came down to our 0.382. Tried to come back up, didn't quite make it, bounced around a lot before going back up, a lot of consolidation there. But these will give you a better indication, I think, if you're just starting out of where to draw these fib levels, at least on the 5-minute time frame. Okay, so that's the quick little indicator I just wanted to show you. If you are looking for those settings on the Fibonacci retracement, what's up here? You can double click this after you pull it up, and you can simply set these areas. So you can put 0, 0.382, 0.618, 1, negative 0.05 I used to use for stop loss, 0.17, 0.5, and then your take profit levels down here. And you can color code this however you want. You can have a background, you cannot have a background. I can use one color, however you want it to kind of look on your graph. But there it is for setting up those values. You can just simply double click it and set those values there. So these are all the values I have, which is 0.17, 0.382, 0.5, 0.618, so on and so forth. But the one quick thing with that $900 trade this morning, the other thing we saw with the 5-minute opening range break, there's a few other things I saw during live trading opening range break is from 8:30 a.m. to 8:35 a.m. Central Time. See, we never quite broke through this 5-minute opening range break. It even looks worse on the 5-minute. You're just kind of wicking through that area. So even worse on the 5-minute, you're just wicking through that area. Never broke through that range, indicating we could possibly go short again. And we got this giant bearish candlestick breaking that trend line. And what's funny, when you draw this out, we got some 5-minute bearish fair value gaps too. I go over fair value gaps on my channel too if you're interested in that video. But so if I was drawing, this is what I saw. So I actually saw it probably around here. We retested the 5-minute opening range break, but we had a 5-minute bearish fair value gap sitting there too. All these kind of confluences lining up, right? So you have a couple of highs here to choose from, but you will see we wicked right through that 0.786. So sometimes you're trying to match up these fib levels with support and resistance. You'll see we had some support and resistance levels around there in the 0.618. The more candlesticks you see coming through these areas, that points to a better entry, okay? So you're kind of looking to see where these candlesticks or where it might resist at. But we had our 5-minute opening range break. There's 0.786 sitting there. We also had a 5-minute bearish fair value gap on that 5-minute opening range break. So right here. So all that indicating we could take a short and just write that down, which is exactly what we did. Anyways, if you are looking to learn more about TA and how it works, I have trading psychology, just how to set up your account using a VPN if you're in certain countries, Tradingview mastery, all the TA concepts I kind of wish I had at the beginning, including trend lines, candlestick patterns, chart patterns, fair value gaps, order blocks, Elliott wave theory, so on and so forth. And then, of course, our trading strategies that we work at following the rules at every day in order to hit these plays. That is the TA course down below. If you are interested, I also do live trading perps, typically morning to night, Monday through Friday, not Friday nights, obviously, because volume's too low, but morning, night, and then I have the recorded sessions in here if you aren't able to make it. So here are all these. I go over wins, I go over my losses, I do a recap at the end, or try to. And whatever you guys need help with, I am here. Please feel free to drop your questions or comments down below, and I will be sure to answer them. Thank you.